Numbers 44 to 47.
Listen to a researcher giving a presentation to his colleagues. He is talking about a research study.
I want to share with you a study we did on how teens use the internet to find out about music. We interviewed over 1,800 teens to ask them about their internet use, especially how they use the internet with regard to music. We spoke to all these young people face to face. What we learned is that teenage girls are more likely than boys to use the internet to research a musician or a band. Girls are also more likely to go online to listen to music and watch music videos. About the only music-related activity that boys seem to do more of is downloading music to copy to CDs. Another interesting thing we found is that teenage girls who spend a significant amount of time online, about half of them spend at least $100 a year on buying music from online retailers. These girls actually prefer to get their music this way, rather than going to the store. In our study, we also identified those teens who are the so-called music influencers, the ones who other people turn to for advice or opinions about music, the ones who seem to know what's new or cool in music. Music influencers also tend to be teenage girls. And these girls spend nearly a third more money on music than average teens, which makes sense. They are influencers because they listen to more music. They tend to have a wide range of musical tastes. And because they're spending so much time listening to music, they wind up buying more music.
Number 44.
What was the research study about?
Number 45.
How was the information for the study collected?
Number 46.
What does the speaker say about teenage girls who spend a lot of time online?
Number 47.
What kind of people tend to be music influencers? Numbers 48 to 51. Listen to a manager talking to her staff.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for coming. I know there will be some questions about the new ID cards, so I thought it'd be best to meet and discuss the changes as a group. Okay, so I'll just jump right in. As of next month, we'll be using a new computerized system to keep track of employee hours. The system is tied into the ID cards you'll all be getting next Monday. So be sure to stop by the security desk on Monday morning to pick up your card. Okay, so here's how it works. Your ID card will have a magnetic strip on the back. We've installed card readers outside the building entrance. When you arrive for your shift, you'll need to swipe your ID card in the reader. This will do two things. First, it'll unlock the door to the building so you can enter. Second, it'll log the date and time that you arrived. This arrival time is what'll be used to calculate your hours for payroll. You're counted as being at work from the moment you enter the building. Now, when you leave at the end of your shift, or if for any other reason you need to leave the building, you need to swipe your card again. So, just to make sure we're on the same page, you need to log in with your ID card at the start of your shift, and you need to log out whenever you leave the building. Okay, now I see you have some questions. Please feel free to go ahead and ask right now.
Number 48.
What will the ID cards be used for?
Number 49.
When will the employees swipe their cards?
Number 50.
After the talk was finished, what did the speaker expect the audience to do?
Number 51.
Why does the woman say,
So, just to make sure we're on the same page.
Numbers 52 to 56? Listen to a tour guide in the city of Chicago.
Good morning, and welcome to the Architecture Tour of Chicago. On today's tour, we'll visit some of Chicago's oldest buildings. We'll also introduce you to one distinct architectural style that shaped the city in its early days. Before we begin our tour, I want to give you some background information. Many of you know that Chicago suffered a great fire in 1871, and that's quite important when considering the architecture. The history of Chicago's buildings can be divided into two parts, before and after the Great Fire. Chicago is a relatively young city. The first buildings were erected in the early 1800s. By 1871, the city contained more than 50,000 buildings, roughly 17,000 of which were destroyed in the fire. This meant much of the city had to be rebuilt. Today, though, we'll visit some of the older buildings in the city, ones that survived the Great Fire. Many of the older buildings, like those we'll see today, are in a style called Italianate. Italianate was an architectural style that drew its inspiration from Italian villas. They have tall first-floor windows, which allow the beauty of the interior to be shown off. One of the most defining features of Italianate-style buildings is their low-pitched roofs. I'll explain more about those later. You'll also have a chance to go inside two of the homes we see today, to experience close-up the unique style. I do hope you've all brought your cameras along.
Number 52.
What is the speaker's main purpose?
Number 53.
What is the main focus of the tour?
Number 54.
Why does the speaker mention Chicago's Great Fire?
Number 55.
According to the speaker, what will the people do on the tour?
Number 56.
What does the speaker mean when she says,
One of the most defining features of Italianate-style buildings is their low-pitched roofs.
Numbers 57 to 60? Listen to a professor speaking to her philosophy class.
We've got just a few minutes before class ends, and I want to let you know about a public lecture that's scheduled for tonight in Dodge Hall. The lecture is on Climate Change and Ethics. What do we know, and what should we do? We'll be turning our attention to ethics in a few weeks, so I'm hoping if you attend this lecture, it is optional, that it'll whet your appetite for the subject. Dr. Stephen Willis, a professor from Central University, will be the speaker. He's a theoretical meteorologist, an expert on computer simulations of the atmosphere, and this is where he really diverges from most other climatologists, he's published articles in major philosophical journals. It says here in the flyer that Dr. Willis will summarize key scientific findings. and he'll examine policy options and their ethical implications. That is, what we should do about them. I believe he'll be discussing the question of intergenerational fairness, fairness between generations. It's an interesting idea. We're used to thinking about ethics in terms of the here and now, and dealing with questions about the relations between living beings. But one of the questions Dr. Willis is going to ask is whether those of us who are living today have ethical obligations to those who will inherit the earth hundreds of years from now. Most philosophers believe, and I concur, that we do. And frankly, based on the work he's done, I'd be surprised if Dr. Willis thought otherwise.
Number 57.
What is the speaker's main purpose?
Number 58.
Why does the speaker think the event will interest the students?
Number 59.
What does the speaker say about future generations of human beings?
Number 60.
What can be inferred about the speaker and Dr. Willis?
End of the listening test.